Yat Thank you for listening to this podcast. She Peter Desert III in She. Touching Nishle. Kathleen Genie Bashichin. Ashin Hidashe Do. Twohiglini Dishnella. I run this podcast, 21st Century Native Leaders. Please comment on Facebook at 21st Century Native Leaders or on Instagram, Navajo Podcaster. This interview is brought to you by NavajoStore.com, an online store for Navajo products. Visit NavajoStore.com and order your clan coffee mug, clan travel mug, or clan license plate. Visit NavajoStore.com. You can also find us on Facebook at NavajoStore.com. NAVOSTORE.com. Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Desert III, and I am here with Jimmie Joe. Jimmie is an ultramarathoner who has been competing in Europe. Thanks for being on the show, Jimmie.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Peter.
Oh, absolutely. Tell me about yourself, your tribal affiliation, and where you come from.
My name is Jimmie Joe. I'm originally from Keystone, near Down County area, from northern Arizona. And I've been in France for the past 15 years now. And I'm from the Salt Clan, Michigan, and born for the big water people, Totsopi, and mini goats are my chays, my grandpas. And so I don't know how you say that in English, but they're my nullies. So that's who I am.
Oh, wow. So how did you get into running ultra marathons?
Oh, when I first came here, I didn't really do nothing because I didn't speak French. Everything was very, very foreign to me. And so I couldn't get a job because I didn't speak nor understand French. So most of my times, in the afternoon, I had a dog, and I should go walk him, and eventually I started running, and from there I decided to try a marathon. So it was 2013, I believe, is when I started running, and in the process of running my first marathon, I was training, and I did a half marathon first, and it was in Germany. Right? We live right by the border of France and Germany. And just right across the border, there's a big city called Saarbrücken. Ran my first half marathon, and later on in the fall, I ran my first marathon. And I continued, and at that time, I didn't know nothing about ultra running. And 3 years later, that's when I found out. I was watching a video on YouTube, and I seen this race, the UTMB, and I was like, oh, I was watching it, and I was amazed and about how people can run in the mountains, in the forest, and they were running 100 miles, and I was like, how can somebody run 100 miles? And that's how I just started, because I'm pretty much an outdoor person, and I love everything about the outdoors. I guess being raised on the reservation. My parents, they lived in a very isolated area north of Dow County, east of Keystone, and we lived in the mountains. So most of the time, so my older brothers were at school. I'll be by myself at home. I'll be herding sheep, riding horses, chasing the cows. Most of the times, I'll be playing in the mountains on the cliffs. And that's how I became a nature person. So I think that's a big thing for me for ultra running.
So what was the biggest challenge you overcame running ultramarathons?
I think the biggest challenge was the elevation because marathons are mostly just on pavement, and there's really no elevation. There's really no mountains to run on. They're not very technical. There's no rocky parts. There's no mud. There's no snow. And I think that was the biggest transition for me from going from pavement onto trails. But once it took me at least maybe 2 years, a good 2 years of running on trails to get really familiar with everything, even my fueling, uh, hydration, running in the weather, how to dress for the weather, and yeah, it takes time.
So do you have a team that supports you while you're running your 100-mile races?
No, in here in Europe there's no pacers and there's no team. But at the halfway mark, you can have a drop-off bag and you use that. And I train by myself and I run by myself.
So what are the keys to completing a 100-mile race?
Well, for me, it's I have a very demanding job that allows me to be on my feet all day. We do a lot of heavy lifting all day. I think those are key. Then I do a lot of hiking. I do a lot of power walking up mountains, down hills, and on weekdays I do a lot of hill work, maybe 10 miles. On the weekdays I'll run like 30 miles, and then on weekends I'll do long runs anywhere from 26 to 32 miles back to back. Saturday and Sunday I do long runs, and I think for me that works because I believe in getting resting and eating good. I think those are key. That works for me. So I when I was running marathons, I was running 120 miles a week, and after a while, all I felt was fatigue, and I thought to myself, I mean, how can you train like this? I mean, you're tired all the time, and so because of that, I cut back my miles to around 80 miles a week, and with cross training, doing a lot of lifting, legs, upper body, and building a good system for your body. That works. That helps. And I also do a lot of bike riding too. Time to time, I go out and do 50, 80-mile bike rides.
So how do you avoid injuries or overtraining?
Well, I think you have to know your body. You have to really know your strength, your weakness. That's how you build around your weakness. You take in your strength and hydration, eating good, rest. Rest is very important. And since I've been fortunate because I've only been injured one time when I was training for my marathon, and that was running on pavement. And at that time, like I said, I was running 120 miles a week, and that was a lot of miles. And I think my body just kind of broke down. And after that, I kind of even when I do my long runs, I just don't. I alternate everything. I do hard runs, I do slow runs, and most of the time during the weekdays I do slow runs. My long runs, one run I'll do the hard run. The second one on a Sunday, my second longest run I'll do slow, just to get the miles. Weight training, cross training, that helps a lot too. And like I said, to rest and hydrate all the time, that helps for me.
That's amazing. What is the longest ultra you've completed so far?
For me, last year I ran a 112-mile ultra in Champagne, France, and it was had under 15,000 feet climbs, and from the beginning to over half, it wasn't all that. It wasn't much elevation until after the halfway, all the mountains came. Wow, that was great.
So whenever you're running that long a distance, how do you overcome wanting to quit or to just stop?
You know, every time I ran, I've been through some dark spots. I struggled, but I never thought that I would quit. It never crossed my mind. And I always, before I even start, when I trained, I always believed that I would finish, that I would try my best. I think as an ultra runner, if you run long distance, I think the main goal is just to finish first. That's the main priority, at least for me, is to finish. And yeah, there have been times where when I ran my first 100K, when I was building up to going to doing 100 milers, I ran my first 100K and around 50 or maybe 58 miles was 120K. Around 58 miles, somewhere around there, I was coming down a mountain, maybe 15,000 feet, and I ran down all the way. And right when I got to the bottom, my quads gave out, and I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even run no more. Not even to walk. I was walking like a baby, and oh man, there was so much pain. I walked that for a mile, and oh man. And so after that was my first experience running long distance. And after that, I built on that. I knew why that happened, and I turned around and I did more weight training on my legs. I did more downhills because at first my thought was that hills, climbing was the most important, and I never thought that downhills would kill you. So I think you have to. I never asked anybody about how to train or how I should go about my running. As a kid, I always played sports. I did a lot of basketball, and I had some good coaches, and they disciplined me well. So through that, I put one and two together, and I watched videos in ultra running and see how they do. I look for running exercises, a lot of core exercises, and I put all this together, and I go out and put it to use.
And how many ultras have you completed so far?
I say about 10 ultras now.
Wow, that's amazing. And have you thought about competing in the U.S. or on the Navajo reservation?
One day, yeah, that would be nice, but it's the finance. I don't really have the money to travel back and forth. That's the main problem for me. But yeah, one day it would be nice. I like to Canyon de Chelly, all around Bryce Canyon, around the area. That would be nice. Flagstaff.
Yeah. So what is a typical training regimen for an ultra athlete?
I think spending a lot of time on your feet, morning runs, afternoon runs, and it's endless. I mean, it depends on how motivated you are, how passionate, what kind of passion you have for it, and how disciplined you are. And that's for me. That's how I go about it. And every time I work 8 hours, I come home, I take care of things around the house first, then I leave, I run, I hike, and it takes a lot of hard work. There's nothing easy about training for an ultra, and it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time. It's patient. Takes a lot of patience, and I think that's key. Patience, preparation. You have to start way ahead of time. Maybe if you have a race like 4 months away, I usually start training like 4 months before.
Nice. This interview is brought to you by NavajoStore.com, an online store for Navajo products. Visit NavajoStore.com and order your clan coffee mug, clan travel mug, or clan license plate. Visit NavajoStore.com. You can also find us on Facebook at NavajoStore.com. NAVOSTORE.com. And how important is eating healthy?
Eating healthy, yeah, I've just recently, about a year and a half ago, I've changed my diet completely. But it's been close to 7 years now that I haven't ate fast food or drink soda, Pepsi, Coke, all that I did away with. I mostly drink water, even for my fuel. All I take is bio food sauce. That's what I use. I don't do gels. I do a lot of natural foods like nuts, dried peaches, raisins, bananas. That's what I use. And then for electrolytes, I mainly go with what they call I don't know if they have that in the U.S., but here in France it's called orange slits. Orange slits. I don't know how you say it in English. It's French, but I don't know how to translate that into English. But that's what I use for electrolytes.
Is it like Gatorade?
Yeah, it's like Gatorade. Electrolytes, yes, but it's just the name that's different.
And how many calories do you consume during a race?
I mainly, for me, I mainly stick to soup. They have soup. I drink a lot of soup and watermelon. And every 50 minutes, I'll take a fruit sauce. Every 30 minutes, I'll eat dried fruits. And I'll take a bag of peanuts also, nuts, different kind of nuts. And that's about it. About, I say, 100 mile, about 5,000 calories maybe.
Wow. So how did you learn to eat every 50 minutes or every 30 minutes? How did you learn that?
It takes time. It took me a long time to figure everything out on how to feel. Because when I was training for my marathons, and I used to cramp a lot. During that time, I was running 120 miles a week, and I tried everything, like being a hydrate runner or a thirst drink runner. And thirst drink runner is kind of risky because you can easily get dehydrated. And hydrate runner, I didn't. It took me a while to learn that because you have to drink, and maybe if you over drink, then it's not good too. And if you drink less, it's not good too. So you have to work with it. And even the temperatures has to do a lot with that too. I mean, when it's cold, you tend not to drink a lot, but you can still get dehydrated. Now, when it's hot, you tend to drink more, or if you don't drink more, then still there's dehydration. So you have to try everything to how your body reacts to everything. And for me, it took about 3 years, I think, to really put everything into perspective. And that's what I found out that I have to fuel that every 15 minutes to take something. And after that, every 30 minutes. But my for the sugar stuff, I take every 50 minutes. But for proteins and stuff like that, I take every 30 minutes. And that seems to work for me. But everybody is different. So what works for somebody doesn't necessarily mean that will work for you. So you have to find your own identity, I guess, as a runner.
Wow. So we've talked about the diet, your training. How important is the mental component of ultramarathoning?
I think physically, mentally, for me, it's the same. There's not one that's higher than the other, because you have to work them both at the same time. When you physically get tired, like if you're doing 100-mile, around 70, 80 miles, you'll get tired maybe, and you don't want to go no more. But mentally, then your mind takes over. That's when you think, okay, and you have to kind of combine them to help one another out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mentally, it's hard. There's nothing easy about long distance running. There's always going to be a dark spot. There's always going to be a struggle somewhere, and that there's always that uncertainty somewhere, and that's the reason I like long distance running, because you never know. The challenge. That's the challenge, is to overcome that. So
nice. So what was the best advice you were given when you started ultramarathoning?
There's not one person in my life that actually came to me in person or individually to give me an advice. But I read some books and I've watched videos, and the best advice that I ever heard was that the race doesn't start until mile 50, which is true. So that's what I always believed in. That, and in any race, 100-mile, I kind of maintain and until I get to the halfway point. Then from there I can do. If I'm feeling good, I'll run. I give it my best from there. Just leave it all out there and give it my best.
That's important. So how important is your Navajo culture?
For me, it's important, because what I learned as a kid, I still practice today. I get up early in the morning, and that's when I greet my holy people. I give them my appreciation. I run, and just to be up at dawn, to be on your feet, and that's for me. That's a blessing for throughout the day. I do the same. I pray to the evening people, and my culture. It's my upbringing. I think it has a lot to do with my discipline, the way I discipline myself, the way I carry myself, my character, and about respecting Mother Nature, the elements, the trees, the mountains, the water. When I'm running, sometimes when I get tired, I always stop. When I see a beautiful place or water, I'll go over there, I'll put my hands in, I'll smudge myself, touch the leaves, touch the rocks. Or early in the morning when I'm running, I'll stop. Maybe right when the dawn comes up, I'll stop and I'll bless myself. I'll say a prayer, not only for me, but for my family, for my people back home. And I'm far from home, so it takes care of me. I always feel blessed to be the Diné, because all that rich tradition, all that our culture, it does a lot for me. Being far from home. So, and as an ultra runner, and it's a huge plus for me, because I think if you're raised on the reservation, if you've been on the res as a kid, if you herded sheep, if you played in the mountains, if you ran up the mountains, played in mud, ran around in the mud after it rained. I mean, that's a huge plus. No, for me it is. And I think that's why it's natural. It's kind of natural for me.
Nice. And who influenced you the most while you're growing up?
Me was my older brothers. I'm the youngest in my family. I had 4 older brothers. My oldest passed, so I still got 3 older brothers and 1 older sister. And being the youngest was mainly learning from my older brothers. So they had a huge influence on me as growing up. And every part of them is in me. And I guess when you're young, the youngest in the family, it's like that, I guess. Even from your uncles, from your aunties, and they'll all love you. So there's always influence from every part of your family, maternal or paternally. So that's a huge gift.
Is there anything else you would like to share?
Well, I like to say that I feel very fortunate to live a great life, and it's been close to 15 years now that I've been living here, and I know I grew up in a very rich culture, rich tradition. I've been through some struggles, and why I changed my life coming here was to get away from alcohol, drugs, violence, and that was one of my main reasons to come here and to live here in Europe. And now that I found a new passion for running, I think it's good to always look outside your comfort zone, always look for something that challenges you, build a passion for it, and your discipline, your whole outlook, it changes everything. If you believe in what you do, if you believe in yourself, and everything will take care of itself. And it's been a huge blessing for me, and I'm proud to be here to represent for my family, my people, and yeah, it's been wonderful.
That's amazing. And how can people contact you if they want some advice on how to train, how to diet?
Well, for now, I'm just on Facebook. I'm on there as Jimmie Joe, so you can find me there easily. And soon I would like to try and put something on YouTube to, once I get a GoPro or some kind of video to use on my runs, and make a daily video of everything that I would like to put together, like fueling, eating, and everything that I do as ultra running. So hopefully that will work out.
That's amazing. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy training schedule to interview with me. I know you've been trying to connect for a couple of months now. Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I really appreciate all the support that you all give me, and continue to listen to this podcast. I hope you enjoy the future episodes. Please comment on Facebook at 21st Century Native Leaders, or on Instagram, Navajo Podcaster. This interview is brought to you by NavajoStore.com, an online store for Navajo products. Visit NavajoStore.com and order your clan coffee mug, clan travel mug, or clan license plate. Visit NavajoStore.com. You can also find us on Facebook at NavajoStore.com. NAVOSTORE.com.